Hello and welcome to another scoring vlog. So this week we are delivering the piece of music that I'm having commissioned by Consortium from a bunch of band directors from around the country, and I have to deliver that by this Friday. Now today's Monday, and this week is gonna look a little different for me, specifically because we got a new puppy. So this is Maple. Maple is about 2 months old. She is brand new to the house, and she's definitely a young pup. So we adopted Maple from the local shelter, and she's very nice. She's very playful. She's definitely teething. So this will make things a little bit more complicated. While I'm at home and not out teaching, I have to be keeping an eye on her. I'm gonna try to get as much work done as I can, maybe downstairs, so that I can keep an eye on her, even when she is in the crate. Hey, stop messing with that. So here I am in Dorico in the living room, and there's Maple in puppy jail. It's fine though, she's comfy on her bed. So I shall remain here and maintain an eye on her while I try and work on music in this chair in the living room. Okay, so today what's going on is we're finishing this piece as much as we can so that we can start proofreading and editing, making sure that everything looks good for delivery on Friday, which is in 2 days from now. Okay, so I left off at a certain development section here in the middle. I'm going to develop this a little further before we do a recap of the beginning stuff and then a proper ending. So it shouldn't be too difficult. So here I'm trying to figure out the harmony for the slower middle section. I've settled on a harmony, and Dorico has this cool function where you can play in the notes in multiple staves at a time. So I'm applying the chords I was just using to the low brass here. Sometimes when I put together a band piece, I think of the structure, the form, and my go-to structure is an ABA structure. So if you don't know what that means, the A section is your main material, and you can divide the A section into further sections, but basically that like it's its own distinct section. Maybe I'll repeat that in an A prime section, which is the same material but altered so that it's not literally a copy paste. B section, to give it some variety, this is different material to the A section, and then come back to the A section in a satisfying way. So this piece sort of follows that same form closely as well. So to close out the piece, I returned to some material from the beginning that I had pasted to the end here, but have to alter it to attach it to the final measures which I had come up with earlier in the process. Sometimes I think of what the ending of the piece will be pretty early on, so I add several measures, go to the end of that, then add my measures, and then I try to find some way to tie into that earlier in the piece so that the ending doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere. Okay, it's time to have a little puppy break. So Maple has been in the crate since I've been writing. There she is. Hi. Hi. And we'll take her out for a little bit, and then I'll have lunch, and then she'll have lunch. Let's go. Let's go. All right, go pee-pees. She didn't do anything, so we're going back inside. Okay, sit, sit, sit. Good girl. Here, I'm figuring out how I'm going to build from the harmony in the middle section back into the main A material recap. A lot of my work is playing around with the different harmonies that could fit in these situations, but I have to settle on the right ones. Still keeping in mind stuff like voice leading, range for all the instruments, stuff like that. Okay, so I'm putting the final musical touches on the piece. And then I need to proofread the piece, make sure that no dynamics are omitted, everything is within range for the age group that this is for. And then proofread all the parts, make sure they look decent, not spread awkwardly across several pages, but maybe 1 or 2 pages. And then package it all together and deliver it. So let's lock in. So after finishing the rest of the piece, I spend time now proofreading, mostly checking to see if all the notes are within range for the instruments that I'm writing for, keeping in mind the age group that I'm writing for, and then spend time formatting parts, basically getting decent staff sizes for each instrument so that they fit on 1 to 2 pages, with bars that are big enough to comfortably see and everything like that. So I go through nudging things here and there as I need to. I realized that the rehearsal bar numbers on the parts were too big, so I went in and made them smaller. Fortunately, Dorico does a really good job of spacing everything out according to my settings and having page breaks in the right moments and everything like that. After that, I open my desktop publishing app, Affinity Publisher, to package up the final book for this final score. So basically, I export my score and parts from Dorico into its own folder, and then I open the score in a new Affinity Publisher file where I then add stuff like the cover, basic information about the piece, including instrumentation, program notes, performance notes, and in this case, dedication to all of the schools that contributed to the creation of this piece. I'm very happy to report that I delivered everything on the Friday that I said that I would, and every school that needed to get the piece got it with as minimal mistakes as I possibly could have done in the time allotted. And that concludes the work on this piece. It's done, published, I packaged it up and sent it out. That's it. All right, thanks so much for checking out this scoring vlog. I really hope you enjoyed it and you come back for more. And until next time, take care.